Da 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 da. It's never gonna sound any good. Anyway, welcome back for semi-final 2 of Eurovision, the second day of this week where they filter out some of the questionable songs that make it into this contest. And starting with this, they had this seemingly never-ending it wasn't a makeup tutorial, it was Pietra and Morlin just doing their makeup, and it seemed to take 2 hours, and the show itself only lasts 2 hours. And then they went in tanning beds, but I thought the whole point is that you're only meant to go in wearing underwear so that your like whole body tans. I mean, because it's on TV, they had to like cover up a little bit. But then they started singing a parody of Tattoo about going to Malmö to host Eurovision. It was bloody hilarious. And then they started hosting it again. And this is where we now get back into the reviewing the songs situation. So let me just get set up. And here we go again. Yes. We started off semi-final 2 the same way we did with 1. Small island country sends incredibly generic pop song with talented dancers that unfortunately get drowned out by it. I would say this was a little better than the Cypriot one. Main difference with this one is it didn't qualify. I don't really remember this one. I don't think she qualified either. I was a bit perturbed by this Greek entry. It was meant to be like... one thing I find out is that she's 37, so hitting middle age, yet this whole song was meant to be about trying to fight stereotypes about what young, hip, modern Gen Z Greeks are like, whilst you're almost a Gen Xer. And she was all like, oh yeah, we're always on our phone, we're always on Instagram, but you know, we still like to do the dances and be in touch with our traditions. It just came across really arrogant. And it's, look at her when they go to her in the green room. She just looks like a bratty millennial. This one perplexes me. Like, the rap bit is so out of sync, but the rest of the song, I'm like, it's not like, oh my god, I love it, but it's like, ooh, I like this. I love the top half of his outfit, where it's all frilly and quite like Swiss flag colour, but I hate the skirt. And this spinny thing, look, he's going around and round and round. Throughout his performance, this was like moving all sorts of ways, and they're not telling anyone how it's moving. I think they've got weights in it that they can move around electronically to different parts for when in the song he needs to either be standing at the top of it or be able to slide down. I think they've got weights inside it that they can move with a computer to help him move around, using it in the way it's choreographed. He's an incredibly perplexing individual. I don't know. He says the song is about, well, not him, they said the song is about them realising they're not a man, but they're non-binary. And I get the feeling there's still a lot of confusion and we don't have a word for it, but like, I guess insecurity in him. And I hope this expression, like expressing it out to so many millions of people, gives him some sense of peace and assurance in his personality and his identity. They seem like such a friendly person. It's going to be a while before regular people such as myself who don't question or feel any need to properly analyse our genders get used to this. What hasn't changed though is songs like this being generic and boring and overdone. It's just a typical my ex was horrible, I need to think about me. Wasn't every other Little Mix song this? This, I mean, you could say this was like a Eurovision song. I hate songs like this. They're so predictable and dull and boring and lifeless. And predictable lyrics. We will rave. Skip. Wait, are we? Again, another very inoffensive. This is another incredibly inoffensive, bland, typical BBC Radio 2 song. I bet the DJs at Radio 2 were salivating at hearing this. And she seems to be in a wedding dress / pantsuit. I'm not quite sure what this has to do with anything. I mean, it's very inoffensive and easy listening, but it's just dull. And yeah, there was a reason it didn't qualify. I do not get this song at all. Apparently this was meant to be about women empowerment, but it seems like a tribal chant. And the chicken I do not get. Apparently this is like the most popular singer in, I think it was Latvia. But again, just generic ballad, weird costume, just a bit lifeless. Yeah, it was Latvia. This song, ooh, they're desperate to be like a Pink version of Kiss. As in Pink the colour, not the singer. It did seem like a wannabe Paramore. I don't know. Part of me loves it. Part of me is like, did they really put that much effort into it? And also, they're Spanish. It's really stretching the fact that San Marino, so teeny weeny weeny, they constantly, they either have to get a foreigner or Valentina Moneta to represent them. And this, yeah, instead of Italy, they went for Spain. And so, yeah, it would have been cool if this qualified, but it's not that unique. Yeah, you can really see the Kiss makeup there with Pink. I barely remember this one. Just generic and yeah, lots of dancing. What was this one? Belgium. Very generic lyrics, but he has a very powerful voice, so maybe it would have been nice if he qualified. This is my favourite. I think this is actually my favourite of all the songs. I've still got a high bar for Serbia and Ukraine. This one is hilarious. I love this. He's the good Satan. He's not the Irish one. I'm not quite sure how this qualified. One, because of the war situation, and two, because it's so dull and predictable. I think I would have liked this one more if it had more lyrics. I don't really remember it that much. And I have no idea why they chose this clip for sending us out from Europapa. Because it is the exact opposite of what the rest of the song is. It's him with this massive grin bobbing around the stage, insulting every European country. That he mentions fish and chips in the song, and he had like a picture of it on the screen. Well, what was meant to be it. It looked like if they had fish and chips in Minecraft. The piece of fish was so pixelated, it looked like salmon, and the chips were so pixelated, it looked like mashed potato. And there was this white blob on the corner, which I think was meant to be tartar sauce. which, fair enough, you did your research, you properly researched how the food is served, but it looked so bad. And then, like, saying you have no idea what paella is, it's a bit xenophobic. It was an incredibly fun, joyous song, and I feel like this bit at the end was so dull and preachy. That's not true. Fair enough, I do. If you lose a parent at a very young age, it's of course going to stick an unhealing wound in your chest. It's nice for him to have that little bit at the end, but I kind of think for the recap, they should have actually done one of the fun hyper bits, because 2 minutes and 50 seconds of it were super hyper. And yeah, and there we go. So then as semi-final 1, let's take these out. Then as semi-final 1, semi-final 2 featured the performances of the 3 songs of the other automatic qualifiers that were voting: France, Spain and Italy. They seem to have split us up: Germanic Latin countries Thursday, Germanic countries Tuesday. And as for them, what do I remember? Spain's was this like couple in their 50s doing this like dance pop number that the crowd were loving, and it was called Zorra, which, despite having an A-level in Spanish, I had to Google Translate. It means whore. But it was meant to be like some feminist empowerment song. I could never really probably get into the song because I was just so desperately trying to concentrate on translating the lyrics. I got half of them. Anyway, another country where I was desperately trying to focus in to see if I could understand the lyrics was the Italian song La Noia, Boredom. I can't actually really remember what any of the song was about. I think I was more distracted by the flamboyant instrumentation. You know, she was a good singer. She had a good performance. I don't know why it's so high. And it seemed, it was sort of that song where it's like generic, but there's some uniqueness and talent. I guess like the Luxembourgish song. And then France, a song called Mon Amour. How French. It really was. The song, it was sort of like, voila, it was so French. And he really wanted to flex how powerful his voice is. He had an a cappella bit. He like took a few paces back from the microphone and damn, belted that part of the chorus and then came back in. It was a bit of a flex, but he earned it. He's a good singer. The song itself, I feel like, especially for France, it was quite generic, but he's talented. And then we delved into a little sing-song. These interplats were way better than 2 days ago. So the first one, it was a sing-along. They had the lyrics up on the screen. Petra and Marlon were horrendously butchering My Number One, which won almost 20 years ago. Then Helena came on stage, sang it all perfectly. Then we had Sweden's winner from the year after I was born, 99. So I only know of this song from looking up past winners. Damn, that is one crap generic song. How that won? And the only 2 songs from that year I actually know are, I don't even know my own country's song from that year. Her and Iceland, who came second and first. And the Icelandic song was way better. And somehow that generic poop one, that was a bit painful to get through. But then it was all brought back again for Turkey's win. And Turkey haven't been in the contest for 10 years. And I have a feeling Sertab came back to sing her winning song as an expression of, please can my country come back to Eurovision. So you know how Luxembourg came back this year? Maybe Turkey will be coming back next year. I know it's again that situation of it's mostly in Asia, but I mean Israel, Armenia and Azerbaijan, sorry about the yapping dog, email Israel and Armenia combined, Israel, Armenia and Azerbaijan are pretty much fully in Asia, and Australia's on the other side of the world, and they're all on the contest, so But yeah, that was fun. And then, if her little jab at the beginning of the first semi-final wasn't enough, they did this massive number, literally taking the piss out of themselves and their country about how much Sweden loves Eurovision. This is one benefit you really get when Sweden hosts Eurovision. I mean, they're the only country to have done it so frequently in the past few years. They are so open to take the piss out of themselves. It's hilarious. And Linda Woodruff came back in this ginormous EBU dress. Bit strange how she was singing about Sweden loving it so much. I mean, the person who plays her is Swedish, but she herself, the character Linda Woodruff, is English. That was a bit confusing, but damn, that number was hilarious. I just appreciate they can take the piss out of themselves. So anyway, that was semi-final 2. Join me tomorrow, hopefully, for my thoughts on the grand finale. And hopefully I don't hate the winner, because that's what usually happens. Last year was an exception where I actually liked the winner. I usually can't stand the winner. Join me for the grand final.